next guests are a pair of friends who have been entertaining us for decades. One you know from shows like Stranger Things, The Kaminsky Method, and Mad About You. The other you know is a 5-time Grammy winner and member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with his band, the Doobie Brothers. Together they have written a memoir called What a Fool Believes. You can find it now wherever you buy books. Say hello to Paul Reiser and Michael McDonald. Saying I'm freaking out of it, man.
Oh, no,
yeah.
me too.
I got to freak out on him the first time I met him, but now I've never met you. You're like one of the greats. So just as an artist, I'm gonna freak out because it's my show and I can. But I gotta ask, this is random for like fans of both of you. Like I had no idea of your friendship. Like,
it makes no sense.
It's awesome.
There's no reason.
How did you meet?
We met in a silly way. There was a private event in a house next door to where I lived, and I didn't want to go to this thing because, you know, I like staying home.
Yeah.
And I walk in there, and there's Michael McDonald playing the piano. I go, oh my, like that. I went, oh my God,
Wait,
Michael
what?
McDonald.
Yeah.
So after I went over and I told him what a huge fan I was, and then I don't know where this moxie came from, but I said, you know, I live next door, and I have a room with 2 pianos because I play piano. Would you like to come and play? And because he knows no better, he went, yeah.
He knows no better.
And because that's a strange request, anyway.
Yes.
I know. I was like, have you ever been asked that? It seems
I
like
never
a
knew anyone with 2 pianos.
just hanging out in their home. Yeah.
And I only had
He's
to,
doing all right.
Yeah.
But the reason I had 2 pianos was in my head, maybe this will come up someday. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Maybe somebody, and then we can play together. And we played for like 3 hours just jamming, and
That's so
how
cool.
we became friends.
That's so cool. I love that. So how did the book happen?
Pandemic.
Yeah.
So many things. Okay, the pandemic was horrible, but so many cool things happened in it because people had time and they just kind of got to sit and think of, you know, life and things.
But people had talked to you about doing a book over the years, right?
People had mentioned it from time to time, and I never really, I thought about it, but I didn't really know where to begin. And he and I were actually writing a song at the time. Paul's a great piano player, by the way, better piano player than I am. We didn't finish the song, but we wrote a book. So
that's amazing. There's a song.
I would ask Mike questions that you know, because so many people are huge fans of Mike, but we don't know the story, and I knew nothing. So I would ask him all these questions, like, how'd you get in Steely Dan? How'd you do that? And finally, I said, you should write a book. And he went, well, I don't know how to write a book. I said, I've written a couple of books. Plus, it's lockdown. We have no job.
We have time.
We have time.
Time.
So we just sat and we Zoomed for like 2 months, and we would just chat. It wasn't really work. We would just tell all these stories, and I would get him down, and then massage him into that beautiful book. And we're very proud of it.
No, so you decided, I mean, it's got to be it's a big thing, like even, you know, figuring out what the title for my album when I'm releasing an album is. Like, everything is your baby, right? So how did you land on What a Fool Believes?
much to my chagrin. You know, that was the first thing Paul said. I think, you know, that's a good title. You know, and I said, I don't know, you know, it's so obvious, you know. I wanted something really mind-provoking and, you know,
it is, though, because we're all
you
different kinds of fools. We all believe our own.
Well, as time went on and as the story developed, you know, I started to see, well, you know, that really is the title, you know, and it was a good idea from the beginning. Most of the good ideas involving the book I was slow on the uptake, but thankfully I had him.
Well, you know, it's funny. Someone said, you know, someone was asked Mike the other day, why'd you write this now? And he said, well, because in 3 more years, I wouldn't remember any of this. So, like, let's get it
done. It's the timing. Yeah.
Exactly. So one of the original titles we thought of was, what the hell's the name of that guy? Yeah. And we said, that's not really a good title.
Kind of funny, too, though. Just So it's such a great song. We've covered it on this show, and I remember because the timing is different from that of My Soul, and I kept messing it up when we were trying to do it. But it's such a great classic song that I feel like even different generations, there's so many people have covered it, so many greats. Like, what's one of your favorite covers of the song?
Of one of my songs?
Yeah, of What a Fool Believes.
Oh,
like,
What a Fool Believes.
Yeah.
I would have to say Aretha Franklin.
Oh.
That was my...
she was good.
My all-time.
She was all right.
Yeah, she was... And when I heard she cut the song, I was like over the moon, of course. And,
yeah.
But And then she did a showcase at the Whiskey A Go-Go years ago, and for that album. And, you know, of course, finagled an invite to it, you know, and when I got there, only to find out that she had, of all the songs she dropped that night, that was it. She wasn't feeling well with her voice.
Oh, vocally?
Yeah. So that.
You know what? That's kind of a compliment, man.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You know what
I
I'm
guess,
saying? Like, if it was the big song of the
I still
set.
enjoyed the show, but I have to say I was a little disappointed.
I know. I will say, though, it sometimes does work out that way. And, you know, this is an artist. Like, you'll get on stage and you're like, oh, I'm not going to do that justice in this moment right now. So that's a compliment to how great the song is. Yeah.
You're a very optimistic person.
Yeah, I am. You have to be in this world, Paul.
I like it.
That's
You
why I
have to
lower a
stay
lot
that
of
way.
keys over the years. You know?
Yeah. So in the book, I didn't know this, you randomly played basketball with James Taylor once?
Yes.
How did that happen?
I only hope, at this point, I only hope he remembers the story. Yeah, no, he and I were working at the same studio at the same time. It was during the time that he and Carly had moved out to Los Angeles. Yeah. And they were doing the In the Pocket album. Wow. Shower the People.
Yeah.
And so.
Just a little ditty no one's heard of. That's fine.
And I was such a fan of James Taylor. I had played the Gorilla album in my car every day for the last 2 years, you know. So when I got to the studio, for some reason, uncharacteristically of me, I was early and no one else was there. And no one was in their studio either, next door. But our studio had a basketball hoop in the big room. When I walked in, there was James Taylor shooting baskets all by himself. And I said, oh, hey, you know, how's it going? And,
you're like trying to be cool. Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, you know, we're talking. And he goes, oh, yeah. He goes, and he made some comment as, you know, how pathetic is it, you know, no respectable rock and roll musician shows up earlier than anyone else for his own session, you know. I felt like in that moment, I finally got to meet one of my idols, you know, which was a big deal for me.
But you know what's really cool also in hearing all Mike's story? Everybody that we admire, I'm a huge fan of Mike, they're fans of somebody else. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, you're a huge star. We all love Mike. But all these people, and it was really sweet to hear that all these people that Mike got to work with over the years, he still couldn't believe it. It was like, oh, I can't believe I'm meeting, whether it's James Taylor
you
and
must
Rachel.
be unaware of who you are, sir. Yeah. Okay, so wait, you've talked about being mistaken for other celebrities, and one of them I think is hilarious because I don't think you look at all like this person. Captain Kangaroo, is that what?
Yes.
You don't look anything like that guy.
That ruined my day, actually.
Of course it ruined your day.
Nothing against Captain Kangaroo. I loved Captain Kangaroo growing up.
Nothing against him, but no one wants to be like, you look like that guy.
Well,
like, no.
That very meme right there, that picture right there, circulated on our bus for about 6 months.
Oh, my God.
After that.
Oh, we would never let it down. Yeah, no.
But, yeah, no.
That's what friends are for.
Ric Flair, usually Bob Seger or Kenny Rogers, you know.
Oh, my gosh.
But Pete Barbuti was one of them. But,
but
it's never me.
That looks like Jerry Seinfeld with Mike McDonald's hair.
Oh, my God. Have you ever been mistaken for anyone? Do you ever get any?
Brad Pitt, I get a lot.
Totally. I see that. I see that.
Yeah, you know who I used to get a lot? Joe Montana.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Apparently.
Oh.
And this is when the ego gets a hold of you. I was in San Francisco, I don't know, it was somewhere in LA. A guy came over and he goes, big fan of yours. I said, thank you. He said, you know, and I'm from San Francisco, so we really like it. I'm going, yeah, I do well in San Francisco. Yeah. Then the guy says, just so you know, my son plays football because of you. And I'm still thinking, maybe he wanted to be a comedian.
You're trying to make it work.
He saw me, he goes, I can't do that. And an hour later, I went, oh, for goodness, no, I'm not Joe Montana.
Oh, my God. So it's great to see you both. I'm such fans of both of you. It's lovely to have you on the show, man. You are so talented.
Pleasure to be here.
You can find Paul and Michael's book, What a Fool Believes, wherever you buy your books.